In an article by Caroline Pryatt that talked about simulators demonstrating the risks of texting behind the wheel, it said, quote, "Studies show that drivers who are texting are 23 times more likely to be in an accident." End quote. A similar article, called Distracted Driving, said that, quote, "Each day in the United States more than 9 people are killed and more than 1,153 people are injured in crashes that were reported to involve a distracted driver." End quote. In fact, Pascal Farah tells us that, quote, "The National Safety Council estimated that cell phone use and texting while driving are responsible for 28% of car accidents or 1.6 million accidents per year." End quote. I think it's pretty safe to say that texting and driving is dangerous and it can be very fatal. There are laws in place in many states to prevent this fatal action, but it still continues to happen. We need to be the ones to think before we text behind the wheel. We need to remember that by doing so, we are putting our lives as well as the lives of others in danger. In an article called "Trends and Fatalities from Distracted Driving in the United States" by Fernando Wilson, he states that, quote, "In 2008, approximately 1 in 6 fatal vehicle collisions resulted from a driver being distracted while driving." The causes of distraction have recently been debated, and several studies implicated the use of cell phones or texting or sending text messages while driving. End quote. Texting and driving is a major problem. There are many laws against it throughout the United States, yet it still continues to happen. Texting while driving is extremely dangerous, and we need it to stop altogether. Every time you use your phone, hands-free or not, it puts your life and other innocent lives in danger. There have been laws put in place in many states to stop different variations of cell phone use while driving. In the article "Driving While Intoxicated" by Jason Bowers, he states that, quote, 10 states, including the District of Columbia, have prohibited handheld cell phone use while operating a motor vehicle. Right now, 32 states prohibit drivers from cell phone use altogether while driving, and 39 states prohibit all drivers from text messaging and driving. End quote. I believe that further laws need to be made where laws are relaxed, and laws need to be put in place where there are none. Stopping cell phone use altogether in every state while at the wheel is the goal. If we continue to use our phones behind the wheel, it will never do any good, only harm. I have attached a few pictures of Liz Marks, a popular 17-year-old high school student who was in a near-fatal car accident because she looked down at a text message while she was driving. Because she was distracted by her phone, she crashed into a tow truck. After the accident, she was airlifted to the trauma center in Baltimore. She had serious brain injuries and facial injuries. She ended up blind in one eye and lost her sense of smell. She cannot create tears because of severe damage to her tear ducts. She is unable to hear properly, and she cannot fall asleep without proper medication. All of this because of a stupid text message. Making our roads safer starts with you. You need to be the one to think before you text and drive. You need to be smart enough to keep your eyes on the road. You need to remember Liz and realize that the same thing could just as easily happen to you or an innocent bystander if you pick up your phone while driving. Texting and driving is eerily similar to drinking and driving. Bowers also stated that, quote, "According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, texting while driving is comparable to consuming 4 beers." End quote. The outcome can be fatal to anyone around. In order to save lives, the laws are in place in many states to prevent this deadly act, need to be abided by. We need to be cautious behind the wheel. We need to remember that if we text and drive, we are putting the lives of everyone around us at risk. Don't end up in a situation like Liz Marks. She did not want that life for herself, but because of her actions, she received an almost deadly consequence. Think before you use your cell phone behind the wheel. Think of your family. Think of yourself. And think of the many innocent people around you. Be smart when you get behind the wheel. Don't text and drive.